Year 12s, hello. Well done. Congratulations on finishing your end of year assessments. Well done with those. Really pleased with how those went. You should be really proud of your efforts. So, focus returns back to independent investigations. So, I'm just going to talk you through very quickly where we are and what you need to be doing as your next steps. So, following the Snowdonia and Birmingham trip, we have come back. You have completed a student planning form on OneNote on your own, putting together a proposal with members of staff. You then went into your stage one sign off meeting. Some of you went through as green, some of you went through as amber, and some of you took a couple of goes just to go through and perfect things, and perhaps were passed through as red and had a couple of meetings early on with that. Now we're at the back of the end of your mock exams. We're going to gear up towards a second meeting, which is called stage two sign off. And this is the final sign off for your independent investigation. So this meeting is going to take place at some point in the week of Monday, the 20th of June. And you will be meeting with the same member of staff who signed you off at stage one. So that member of staff will be getting in touch with you at some point this week. They will be emailing you with some suggested times and dates. Some of those will be in lesson times, some may be at lunch times, but you're going to schedule a time to meet up with them. That meeting should really only be taking around 5 minutes or so to have, and that's because there are only a few small things to do in that meeting. So I'm just going to outline what you need to have ready by the time you meet your member of staff again next time. So firstly, if you were given an amber in stage one, you need to have addressed the issues that were brought up that meant that you were an amber rather than a green. So you'll go back to your original proposal form in here, your planning form. You'll go down to the bottom down here, and you'll have a look at what was flagged as reasons for why you didn't pass as a green first time. Now they're amber, so there'll be something small. So it might be your sampling strategy needs changing. It might mean that you had to think about one of your methods. But you need to prove to the member of staff that you have reflected on whatever was amber and you have adequately changed your project so that now they would be able to pass you as a green rather than an amber. So that's the first thing. Have a look at those things that were flagged as amber, and you convince the member of staff that you are now in a place that those are no longer things that will make you an amber, but they will make you a green moving forwards. Because indeed, coming out of stage two, you are either going to be green or red, one or the other. So it's either a green, you're good to go, everything's perfect, or a red, something's not right, I need to see you again. So show them that the things that were ambered have been sorted. Show them that you've thought, you've changed, you've altered, and you're in a place now ready to have a green project. Job number two is you need to do a very thorough risk assessment. Now, when we had stage one meetings, you put together in your planning form a section where you were thinking about some of the hazards, and those hazards will have appeared up here in part number 7 about safety, the major concerns you had for a piece of work. Now, those were things that we would have looked at and just suggested something sensible. It's not sensible. There were a few projects that we altered through safety concerns, but it hasn't shown yet that you've given enough thought and time to the process of really doing a thorough risk assessment. Now, when we were away, you will remember that we had a section looking at risk assessments. Back here, here's student planning form section number 7, and we talked about a 4-prong attack to a risk assessment, that you should do a generic risk assessment using other people's risk assessments. Just Googling online for some other ideas from other people, geography teachers, universities, etc., who'd done risk assessments before. You should use a geographical information system, a GIS, like Google Earth or Google Maps, to go and look at your location and try and find hazards specific to the sites that you're in. And then later down the line, you would do a recce risk assessment, your data collection, or the week before your data collection. You'd have a look at your site, you'd look for hazards so that you've been to the site, you've visited it, you've checked things aren't any different the day before you're collecting your data. And then finally, you'd do a dynamic risk assessment. You'd be risk assessing on the day. There could be things that happened out in the field that you hadn't been expecting. So by the time you get to your meeting in a week's time, we will have expected you to have done sections 1, the generic risk assessment, and section 2, the GIS risk assessment. The recce will get done in the summer, and your dynamic risk assessment will get done on the day of your data collection. But you should have been able to do sections 1 and 2 on here. So you'll need this Word document in here. And when you open up this Word document, it should give you the outline for a risk assessment to be completed in here. So there's a line in here for each of the hazards that you want for a general risk assessment, your first bits. You can add rows in here if you want to insert some, let's just enable editing. If you want to insert some more columns, some more rows, sorry, into your table, and you need more things, if you aren't filling them up, you can just highlight them and get rid of them. So you'll have a score for likelihood, for severity, and for risk, and you'll be showing us what actions you're putting in place to minimize the risk out in the field. Now, I would suggest that for any hazard you've got on here, so for any of these rows, you'd probably be looking at 3, 4, or 5 maybe different actions that might help you minimize that risk. So we're going to be expecting to see from you your generic risk assessment and what hazards you thought of out in the field about that, and importantly, the actions that you are putting in place to minimize risk. And we're expecting you to have done a GIS risk assessment as well. The bits in yellow we will do over the summer, and when you hand in your project later in the summer, you'll have these elements as well in your project of risks that you found the day before and risks that you found on the day itself. So download a copy of this form, save this form, and then upload a new version of this form into your OneNote, ready for your teacher to have a look at sign off. So we've got an outline of the hazards, we've got an addressing of the issues that were potentially flagged if you were in amber last time. The final thing that you need to do in this last meeting is you need to show us a completed version of this form here. So I've distributed you a new page out. It's called 00A. It should be somewhere near the top if you've alphabetized your list of pages. And it says Independent Investigation Proposal Form. There should be a Word document in there. And that Word document is an official piece of OCR paperwork. So it's formatted pretty poorly. It looks pretty rubbish, and it looks like this. So again, you'll need to download a copy of this. You're going to make some edits to this. You're going to upload a version that we can see of yours. So this form on here is their official proposal form. It's less detailed than the form that you've been putting together. You'll just need to put your candidate name up the top here and your candidate number in the boxes up here on the side. In the boxes that follow in the main bulk of this document, you just need to copy and paste things from our version that we had on OneNote into this Word document, because this Word document will get printed off and this Word document will get sent off to OCR with your independent investigation when we submit them all. So your title obviously is the title of your presentation, of your project. How it links to the specification content, you should have a section on that you can cut and paste into there. In this section here, investigation hypothesis or question, the sub-questions, the area where the data collection is going to take place. Again, just cut and paste, copy and paste into these sections in here. It doesn't matter if this page goes down onto multiple different pages and you need more space. Next off, What's the focus of your investigation? What are you going to be doing? And the methodology down here. What kind of things are you planning on doing when you're out in the field? What techniques, what strategies are you going to use? Now that should be really nice and simple. It's cut and paste. You shouldn't be making anything new for this section. It is just a cut and paste across from your OneNote over into here. And when we see that this has been done, we will be writing a sentence in here approving your work, and we will be signing this off as good to go. At that point, you are done. And that means you have passed the second sign off for your independent investigation. So coming back to this overview form that we looked at a long time ago, and I kept saying it looks complicated, but we just take it small steps at a time. Up here in the blue was half term. Then you had your end of year assessments. Now we're into this next week down in here. And the week that follows will be your stage 2 sign-off meetings with members of the geography department. When you follow that meeting, you'll either come off as a green and you'll be ready to start collecting data and writing up your project. There'll be some lessons in class where we start talking to you about what you need to do over the summer. Or if you get a red off the back of this meeting, then your geography teacher will reorganize another meeting with you quickly, because we're running out of time a little bit, to make sure that we can sign you off before the summer. It's really important. You must have been given a green sign off by the summer, otherwise you can't collect your data over the summer. So this week we're going to give you half of your homework slots, 2 hours of time to be doing these things that you need for your stage 2 sign-off meeting. So to sort out any AMBER problems, to do the risk assessment, and do the copy and paste across onto the OCR form. In the week beginning the 20th, you'll sit down and you'll have your meetings. And then in the last few weeks of term, we're going to have some time in class to be starting to work on your NEA and introducing you to the write-ups, the introductions, the methodologies. That will get you in a place where you're ready this summer to go and complete your data collection, to do your introduction, to write up your methodology, and even to have got your data presentation done over the summer. That will leave you in an amazing position come next year, where you will be ready on easy sailing to finish off the last few bits of your project in the weeks and months that follow in Michaelmas. Good luck, everyone. Stay really positive. I know you will do. Well done with work so far, and good luck with stage 2 sign-offs.